It's your calling.
Behind you!
Rise from the past when there is a new road ahead. The only one that makes sense. Every gate you open into darkness brings another challenge.
Get up quick! Get up quickly! It's not over! It's not over! She's scared. No one can. You better fight! Quickly get up! They're coming! She's hurt. She's injured. She won't make it. She's ready. You are to take more warriors. Remember your training. Finish this! End it now! Behind you! Quick, behind you!
The journey to Helheim is never a straight one. Each must find their own path. Align yourself to its secrets, and you will find yours. However you come to the gold-covered bridge that leads to Hell, you may find it guarded by a giantess. She will ask your name. She will ask your lineage. She will ask your business. The Northmen tell of the warrior woman Brynhild, who leapt into fire and rode to Hell to join her slain love Sigurd. Hela possesses large dwelling places in Helheim. Tall are her walls, high are her gates. The name of her dish is hunger. Her knife is famine. On her threshold all will stumble. Her bed is called sick bed, and her bed hangings are called flames of a funeral pyre. They say she is easy to recognize, half black and half the color of flesh, and her face menacing and grim.
Oh, Senua. Your father does not hate me. He just fears the souls in the underworld. He cannot see that they are already afraid. But I am their healer, and I must answer their cries for help, even if it displeases him.
Yes, the source of the darkness. It's coming. This is your moment.
I'm sorry.
What are you doing? You're showing weakness. You're not a warrior. You're a disgrace. The gods will punish you for this. Pick up the sword. Pick it up. Fight the darkness. Fight it. Get up. Get up. Get up and fight.
Hell is reaching deep inside of her. Stormy seas and lost souls. She's dreamt of this before. They say dreams are visions of our memories, thoughts, and fears, as seen by our inner eye. But what if each one of us is always dreaming, even when awake? And we only see what our inner eye creates for us. Is this what hell is? A world shaped by Senua's nightmares. Maybe that's why people feared seeing the world through her eyes. Because if you believe that Senua's reality is twisted, you must accept that yours might be too.
You failed the gods. You're pathetic. Rotten. Cursed. What were you thinking? Did you really think you could win? How stupid can you be?
So stupid.
Everyone hates her. She's cursed.
The shadow hates.
Look at you. A warrior. Worthless. Weak. Pathetic. Go on. Feel sorry for yourself, because there's no one left to do that for you.
Everywhere. You failed. What's that?
Take it. If you're too much of a coward to fight, then end the suffering. Broken. and lost. Just like your sword.
Come on. There.
Why go on when you give everything and face that which torments you, only to find that it is worse than you could have imagined? Why go on? Is it really so weak to ask this? Or are we just so afraid of the honest answer that we do not dare pose the question? Sometimes the answer lies in a memory, a feeling, a song.
It's not real. It's a trick. It's not real. It is real. Listen to it. She
Don't give up.
did it. Did it. It's
Not like this.
It's not real. It is real. It's a trick. Don't trust it. Maybe you're already dead.
Who are you?
Maybe this
Do you still believe in me, Senua?
No, it's not. It's a trick. She knows it's it. It's a trick. He's already dead. You know he's here. He can't be here. It's impossible.
Come to me. Please.
The light. Go towards the light. It's him. There he is. It can't be him. It's just a trick. It's in your mind. No, he's here. It's in your mind. It's real. It's happening. Go towards it. There it is. You're imagining this. It's dead. He's got you. He's not slow. How could you? Keep going. How could you? Keep going. Ignore the pain. I told you it was to trick you. I told you. Where are you going? See, there's nothing to follow. Come on.
Before she first met him, she was not in a good place. Just a teenager, but not like the others. Barely functioning, she rarely left the house. Her father, Zimbel, made sure of that. Only occasionally did she venture out on her own, collecting firewood and herbs. Errands out in the Orkney Plains. That was her world. Like this one. Barren and lonely.
Getting stronger. You're getting stronger.
Senua, there will be times that you will feel alone and exhausted, like a strange little fish swimming against the tides of the big ocean. But have the faith to let go and let the tide carry you away. Because the whole ocean is your home, and it does not ask you to swim against it.
Already disappeared. Nothing lives here, not even you. It's in your mind. You think you can see it, but it's in your mind.
There he was, the lone figure of a boy, swordplay under the shade of a tree. She remembers the first time she saw him. To her young eyes, he moved as if dancing, and the world danced with him. The glue lifted. For the first time in years, she felt a ray of hope.
The Northmen tell of a great hero. His name is Sigmund. His father's hall was built around a great tree, and one day, Odin comes and thrusts a sword into the tree, a gift to whomever can release it. Many try, but the sword only comes out at Sigmund's touch. His brother-in-law, King Siggeir, wants it, but Sigmund refuses him, so King Siggeir plots revenge. He invites Sigmund and his brothers to a feast, but when they arrive, they are met with an army, not a warm welcome. King Siggeir captures Sigmund and his brothers, steals his coveted sword, and readies them for execution. Death for Sigmund and his brothers seems certain. But the king's wife is Sigmund's sister, and she begs for mercy and implores the king to chain them up instead. He agrees. Not for mercy, though, but because he plans an even more cruel and lingering death. Chained to a tree in the forest that night, a she-wolf comes and devours one of Sigmund's brothers. She returns, ravenous, night after night, until only Sigmund is left. The next day, Sigmund's sister sends a servant with honey to smear on Sigmund's face. But to what end? Well, that night, when the she-wolf appears again, you'll never guess what happens.
Watching from afar, she mimicked him, perfecting her own secret dance, wishing those fleeting moments of light would stretch out to last forever.
It's a trick. It's an illusion. It's not real. It's free. You want to believe it's real, but it's a trick. You're deluded. Where are you going? Where is she going? What is she following? You can't even fight. It's just deception.
How does he so effortlessly court the world and bliss? If only she could do the same. See the world through eyes anew and dance with it, just like he does.
What's your name?
Senua.
I haven't seen you before.
I don't leave home much.
Oh, Zenua's daughter.
I have to go.
Wait. Who taught you to fight like that?
No one.
No one.
Well, I watched you, and
You learnt all of that from watching me? You should become a warrior, you know.
me?
I'm Dillian. I'm here for the warrior trials. Just come and watch. And bring your sword.
You can't put it into words. That moment when you look into the eyes of the one who's supposed to reassure you, make you feel safe. It only takes an instant. Fear swallows you before you have a chance to make sense of it. And darkness becomes a part of who you are.
You killed him.
But her world changed the day the Northmen took him from her. Senua knows that there's no going back to how things were. That there's nothing to go back to at all.
Stay still, stay quiet, hide, don't tell her.
Their gods can see into your mind. They will use this power to destroy you.
They won't stop me. I can still feel him.
Whatever's left of him, they will never let him go.
I'm not gonna let him rot here.
You're the one rotting here.
Leave me alone.
You will die here.
No.
And all your suffering will have been for nothing.
Shut up! Dillian? Is that you? I'll find you, my love. I promise.
By the tree. Can you see him? You want to believe it. Is he not real? Is he there? You're alone in these mountains. Is that Dillian? Nothing lives here. You won't survive. You met him by the tree. She met him by the tree. Maybe it's a sign, the tree. What's he trying to tell you? He's waiting for you by the tree.
As the she-wolf licks the sweet honey from Sigmund's face, he bites the wolf's tongue. The she-wolf pulls away, But Sigmund holds on. The chains break, and he is free. After his escape, Sigmund lives like us, hidden in the forest. His enemy, King Siggeir, believing him dead, as his sister plots revenge. And for vengeance to succeed, even the great Sigmund needs help. So she sends her sons to him. But their blood is weak and corrupted, and they're put to death by Sigmund. So his sister hatches a new plan, one that is cold of heart and pure of blood. Sigmund's sister trades shapes with a sorceress, and in disguise, she lies with her own brother. She gives birth to a son named Sinfiotli. After a time, she sends him to the forest to Sigmund. He tests the boy and finds him strong and fearless, and so they go to take their vengeance on King Siggeir. But luck is not on their side. They're captured, and Siggeir has them buried alive.
Its name is Gramr. It was forged by the god of all Northmen, Odin, and gifted to Sigmund, a great warrior.
I need this sword. It's important. Can you help me?
The sword appears whole, but it is an illusion. It shattered into shards long ago. It is said the great warrior can reforge Gramr by answering the trials of Odin, one for each shard. The roots of the Tree of Death will take you to new lands where you will face the trials.
Go to the shards. Go to the shard.
Go to the shard.
What's the shard? Find it.
It's the metal runestones.
It's in front of you. Find them. The metal. The runes.
You need that sword.
Go to the shard.
Find the shards. Where is it?
Find it. There it is.
Focus.
There's the shard. Focus.
Focus.
Use your eyes. Look.
Get closer.
What can you see?
A king in the north forced the dwarves to make a sword that would never fail and never rust, and that would slice through iron and stone and bring victory to its bearer. But the angry dwarves cursed it. It would be the death of a man every time it was drawn, and it would be the death of the king. Let me tell you about the sword Tyrving.
I don't recognize this place.
Where are we?
Where is she?
It feels wrong. Where are we now?
so strange that we go to such lengths to bury death. Something so very ordinary, inevitable. It's as if we conspire to hide death, because we have no answer for it. But when it comes, and forces itself onto our friends or loved ones, then comes the reckoning.
Senua, you remind me of a story that the Northmen tell about a young woman warrior. Her name is Herver, the daughter of a berserker, born after he was killed. She's a wild, willful child who teaches herself to fight with weapons. When she learns where her father is buried, her only desire is to reclaim the treasure buried with him, but above all, the sword, Tyrving.
Dillion, I'm here. I'm here for the trials. Like when we first met, remember? I'll find him.
What's that? Did you hear that? Nothing. Was that voices? Is that his voice or the voice of the dead? Not Dillion. Dillion's calling.
Herver disguises herself as a man to join a band of warriors, and soon becomes their leader. When they come to the island where her father is buried, her men do not want to go ashore. They say that evil haunts the island, and that it is a worse place by day than other places are by night. Fearless, she lands alone. There are many grave mounds, and all of them have ghostly flames burning over them.
She has to keep going.
She comes to the grave mound of her father after passing through these ghostly fires as though they were mist.
Too scary.
The flames I passed through were real enough. Damn the Northmen to hell.
I can hear him.
Within the burial mound, Herver calls on her father to wake from death and bring her his sword. She says that it is not seemly for the dead in their grave mounds to bear valuable weapons. Her father answers with words of warning. You go to your doom. Baleful runes surround you. You have gone mad. You have lost your mind. Your thoughts are confused. It is dangerous to wake the dead. Like I said, she reminds me of you.
It's not him. It's not him. We told you. We told you it was a trick. That voice doesn't sound like Dillion. What's happening?
Quiet.
It's not him.
He wants me to find him. I'm lost without him.
That doesn't sound right. What's in there? What is it? A secret room. Rose. How do you get in there? How does she get in there?
That voice. It's not Dillian.
Don't stop now. Don't give up now. Find her. You're too close to stop. What's in there? Find another way. It's not working. You have to use your mind. Where can you go? You're failing. Find a think. Think. Focus. Use your mind. Where's he not? You've disappeared. You let him slip through your fingers once again. Think clearly. You have to find another way. There has to be another way. You don't recognize it. Don't doubt yourself. You'll never find it. She doesn't recognize it. Yes, you do. You know where you are. She doesn't. Listen for his voice. Listen. Dillian. Where are you? Listen for his voice. Dillian. She can't hear it.
Hervor ignores her father's warnings. The grave mound opens, and it seems to be full of fire. Again, Hervor demands her inheritance, but her father warns her that the sword is cursed and would be the bane of her family. But he relents and brings her the sword. She leaves the island with it, but the curse holds true, and death would follow in the years to come. And so, Senua, the misdeeds of a father have cursed his daughter.
Does everything look the same? Looks the same. Something's different. Look for clues. What is it? What's different? There's a clue.
face my fears.
Father? I'm leaving. I've decided. I think it will be good for me.
It's the darkness. It's speaking through
No,
you.
Dad, it's me. I think I can beat it. In my own way.
I can see the darkness in your eyes, child.
I met a boy.
Boy.
The chieftain's son.
No.
He said he could help me.
It's a trick.
He said I could be normal.
Normal.
Yes.
No boy is going to save you. No one can. When they see the rot growing inside you,
No!
they will turn their back on you. The gods can only fix you through my hand. You're going nowhere.
No.
You will not defy the gods. Come, child, take my hand. Come. Senua.
I am leaving!
You cannot escape the darkness. Your curse will make everyone suffer. You will have blood on your hands!
It's done. You did it, but there's more. There's more. You're tired, but you have to keep going. There's still more. There's always more to do. It's not going to be easy. Can you do it? It's too much. Have you got the energy? She hasn't got the energy. No. Too much to do.
I saw once a plague strike northern lands of ice. It was so terrible that not the oldest man among us could remember the like. Hundreds died. The sickness took nearly every person younger than 40 and many older, and where dying mothers gave birth, the marks of the plague were on the babes as they came out of the womb.
Where are we? I don't like it. This place feels...
What is this place?
This place feels... It's... creepy. It feels wrong. It feels strange. Where is it? Where are we? There he is. The light. Go towards it. He's in the house. He's going in. He's disappearing. Follow him. Don't let him disappear. The air. Where's it gone? Keep going. How do you find it? It's just a dream.
It's a test. Like the old warrior trials. Dillian will help me.
The stench of rot. She can almost taste it. Do you smell it? No. Don't worry. Not everyone can. It was a warm spring day when she went to the river with Dillian and the others. But the water. She could taste the rot. But no one else could. She knew something was wrong. Something sinister. She begged them to leave, but they just laughed at her. But soon enough, as the bodies piled up No one was laughing. And they knew that she was not like that.
The bridge. It's broken. Fix it. You have to find him. Quick, get to the house. Get to the house and finish this trial.
It doesn't finish until you get to the house.
Before he disappears, Senua.
You have to get in.
The Northmen speak of a death moon, a light shaped like a half moon that appears inside a house and goes around the walls. I once saw the death moon appear at a farm, and first the shepherd died, then a guest died, and then the farmhands, and then the farmer and 6 of his men drowned at sea. But that is not the end of it, because the dead return to haunt the living. If you see the death moon, then beware, because there will be death in that house.
That's it.
You did it.
She did it. It's not done yet. Just a small piece of the puzzle. You passed the trial. Get to the house.
You succeeded.
Senua! Come to me! Where are you?
I'm here! I'm right here!
Are you in there?
You have to find
Come
him.
out if you are.
Focus.
Focus on the runes.
Focus the runes.
There was a Northman called Grettir. Big, red-haired, immensely strong. But he was afraid of the dark.
What's that sound?
Dillian! They're coming for me!
It's Dillian. Go to him. Go to him. He's trying to save you. It's sword! You came through the wrong door.
How are you going to find
Where's your sword?
to defend yourself? What is that creature?
You can't defend yourself. It's Dillian. Find the creature.
Where's Dillian?
Where are we?
Where is it? I'm not safe.
You're dying.
You're lost.
You're dying. This is what death feels like. What should I do?
The light.
Go towards it. Focus. 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 Look. Focus. Two more.
Two more. Where are they? Where are you?
You'll start to burn. There it is. Move away.
Don't let it look quick.
Where's Dillian?
Where is he?
This is taking too long.
Can you hear him? You're lost.
More rooms.
You have to find them.
You're lost.
Where are they?
This all looks the same. Don't let it see you.
It is.
Go towards it. Round. One more to find. One more. One more.
That's it.
Find the other symbol. You're lost.
Look at you. Where is he?
Where are you? You've got them.
You have them.
Where's the door? Find the gate.
Get out. Run. Run. Look at you.
Don't let it see you. It's coming. Move away. You're lost again.
Senua! Senua! What happened?
They're blaming me for the plague. They say that I'm cursed. What if they're right?
How would they know such a thing? Are they gods? None of us are. They're just people. Good people, but they're scared. They're afraid of what they can't see. Like children scared of the dark. They make up stories to fill the void. That doesn't make them true.
What if my father was right?
You have to step out of this darkness. Let them see who you really are, like I have. You're not a monster.
Without you, this darkness has made me a monster.
What if this is pointless? What if you're wrong? What if this has nothing to do with the soul? What if we're wrong? The soul will never be yours.
What if this is the end?
It's just a trick. It's just a pointless guess.
You've been fooled before, you could be fooled again.
You're being tested.
You don't know.
It's just their game for you.
You never know which way it's going to go.
I want to tell you a story about a god of the Northmen called Balder. The second son of Odin. He was beautiful, good and wise. He was fair of feature, he spoke fair words, he gave fair judgments. Light shone from him. Only good things were told of him. Yet he was the first of the gods to die.
You've come this far, but the bridge is broken.
There's no way you can fix it.
What do you do now, Senua?
Face. What is it?
What does it see?
Stay back, don't.
Where are we? What is this? It's the same. It's another world. It's lighter.
It's nicer. I like it here. Can we stay? Let's stay here. It's safe here. It's calm here.
The bridge.
It's not broken.
It's fixed.
What?
The bridge is fixed.
Let's cross it.
The Northmen tell this story about the death of Baldur. It begins with dark dreams. Night after night, Baldur dreams of his own death, and the gods fear for his life. So Baldur's mother makes everything in the world.
Open the gate. She can't. Open the gate. It's locked. Try harder.
She can't. The gate.
She can't. She can't. She will.
She'll find a way. She always finds a way.
They each make their vow. Neither weapons nor wood will injure him, Baldur's mother boasts. Only Loki, father of Hela, the mistress of death, is not amused.
Go through it. It's dangerous. Follow it. What's behind the gate?
Where will it take you?
It's not safe. Dillion, there he is.
There he is.
What are you waiting for?
Quick, find a way.
Find Where is he?
Where's he gone?
We're in the wrong world.
He's not here.
She's in the wrong world.
He's not in this world.
He's in the other one. He's in the other one. He's in the dark world.
The dark.
The world once seemed so simple. Black and white. Darkness and light. Narrow dividing lines of our own making. Dillion taught her to see further. To peek through the cracks and see the worlds of color stretching away from the gloom. And Senua explored new paths into the unknown.
The gods feast and rejoice and amuse themselves by throwing spears and stones at Baldur, striking at him with sword and axe. But he comes to no harm, whatever they do. The gods never cease to wonder at this great marvel. But Loki shapes himself into a woman and asks Baldur's mother, "Is it really true that all things promise to keep him safe?" "I did not ask the mistletoe," Baldur's mother confesses. "I thought it was too young."
Remember him whispering in your ear.
Oh dear.
isn't he here?
He's gone.
He's in the dark world.
He's gone to the dark world.
You're in the wrong world.
He's in the other world.
The dark world.
Without you. Dillian cared for her like no one else has.
Dillian's the only reason she's still alive.
Everything gets broken.
You killed him with your love because he believed in you.
You have no chance for love now.
Nobody will love you again.
Ever again.
You can.
Dillian doesn't know who killed him, but we do.
There he is.
Where are you taking
He's
us?
up there.
He's up there.
How do you get up there?
There's a way. There is a way up there.
Find the way.
She can do it. You're nearly there. She can find the way.
Your curse has claimed Dillian.
And goes to the gods as they throw things at Balder.
He didn't know.
The blind god, Huth, was there. Loki asks him why he wasn't taking pollen. Huth says, I cannot see where Balder stands, and even if I could see him, I have no weapon. Loki replies, here is a wand. I will tell you where he stands. And Huth throws the mistletoe at Balder.
Squashed it.
It pierces through him, and to everyone's horror,
Curse cannot be.
Balder is killed. And for this, Huth is slain.
Nobody will love her now.
Can you remember what love feels like?
Look what happens to the
Bet
thing
you
she
can't.
loves. She destroys the thing she loves.
The Northmen tell how the gods mourned Balder. His body was to be burnt on his ship, but they could not manage to push it into the sea, and sent for a giantess to do it. She comes riding a wolf and has vipers for her reins. She pushes Balder's ship into the sea with such force that the ground shakes and the rollers burst into flames. When Balder's wife sees his body carried onto the ship, her heart bursts with grief, and she dies. She's put next to her husband, and the pyre is lit, sending the dead to hell. But even so, the gods cannot accept his death.
The curse.
And now the darkness
Years
is
had passed since she left her father. She trained hard alongside her friend, Dillian. She saw things no one else could. Patterns, shapes, movement. An intuition that made her an exceptional warrior. Friendship turned to love. But the shadow of darkness never let her go, and she was caught between two worlds. That of Zimbel and her past, and Dillian, a future. Two realities tearing at her soul.
She should have listened to her.
Why didn't she listen to her father?
She thought she could do it.
laughing at you.
What if they take you no closer to Dillion?
Dillion, and you're letting this get in the way.
What if they are just to tire you out, to make you weak
in a way that
before
nobody
the
else
battle?
did?
Overcome with grief, the gods send Hermod to ride to Hell and ask Hela to let Baldur return home. All the gods are weeping, he says. Are they? Asks Hela. We shall see if he is truly missed. If everything in the world will weep for him, he shall go back to the gods. But if even one thing refuses, Baldur stays with me. The gods send messengers everywhere. Weep for Baldur, weep him out of Hell. And everything wept. Men, beasts, earth, stone, trees, metal, everything. Except for a giantess they found in a cave. Baldur was never my friend, she says. Let Hell keep what she has.
Remember the way he stroked your hair?
The Northmen say that the giantess must have been Loki in disguise.
Do you know? Was it worth it? You're still alive, Dillion's dead. He doesn't deserve to be dead.
How does that make you feel?
The Northmen tell how the gods punished Loki for Baldur's death. They captured him and took him to a cave. They fetched his 2 sons and turned one into a wolf, and he ripped his brother apart. The gods used Loki's own son's entrails to tie him down, and turned these bonds to iron, and dangled a poisonous serpent over his face, so that its venom would drip onto him. Each time the venom drips onto Loki's face, he writhes in agony. The Northmen say that is the cause of earthquakes. A reminder, perhaps, that if even gods must accept death, then so must we.
What if this is pointless?
What are you doing? Why did you think you could make this radio?
You keep seeing runes. You see runes everywhere.
Everywhere. What if they're not real? What if they don't actually make sense?
The gods were lying. If you think it makes sense, but really the gods are playing with you.
It makes sense in your mind, but it doesn't make sense in the real
Worlds. The gods but it doesn't mean anything.
You can't read this language, you don't understand.
Sinbel was right.
You're wasting time.
You're cursed. You'll never succeed. Slow! Quicker!
What does it feel like to be in love? What if they're all about wasting your time, just delaying minute by minute by minute?
It wouldn't be the first time he led you astray. You should have listened to your father when you had the chance. Why did
Dillian!
His love has tortured you, and it tortures Dillian.
Be very, very careful.
Dillian never much cared for the underworld, and looked dimly upon the druids, like her father, Zinbel. I guess he took after his father, a chieftain who believed nothing he couldn't see, and he happened to be blind. She felt safe in Dillian's arms, learned to see the world through his eyes. Slowly, the darkness that had bound her so tightly began to unravel.
Senua, your father cannot understand your darkness. He cannot see through your eyes. No one can. My own father was born blind. Doesn't have the faintest idea of what the night looks like. The word dark to him means as little as the word light. So someone is afraid of the dark. Should we fix them by taking away their sight? Would you give up the beautiful world that you, and only you, can see just to be rid of your nightmares? Or is
Killing
this the
you would
price
be
you pay
too
for the
easy.
gift you have?
They're taking your memories to torture you. They're taking you
Gift that makes you so special in my
one memory. Every time you remember, it disappears.
They're going to take everything.
They're not yours anymore. They're going to take everything you have. The memories are ghosts.
I
They
live
belong
for
to
the
the
world
gods,
to
not
protect
you.
you
They're
from
eating you from the inside. They want to kill your soul. They want to crush it. They want your body. They want your soul. They want your mind, and they're going to take it. The memories were yours, but they're the gods now. Nothing is yours anymore. It's disappearing.